Today's La Gran Pregunta: what makes Lyon a tough opponent for Barcelona? And I think a good place to start is the recent form of both these teams. So Kevin, let's start with Barcelona's recent form. 3 draws, 1 win, and as much as we'd like to just harp on negativity and the slog that the team currently is in, it seems that their form is not as good as Lyon's recent form, but I wouldn't say that Barcelona are, limping into this match.
No, I mean, it's funny because both teams are in many ways confounding. They can be brilliant one day and then weirdly lackadaisical the next. This past match day in League One, you saw Lyon really struggle to hold a draw against bottom of the table Guingamp. And that's just, they're a really weird side. The problem with Barcelona, frankly, is just minutes. And it seems weird that even with Valverde's rotation, you still have the key players looking tired and bedraggled. But I mean, those key players are also old, and that will be the major problem when they face Lyon, as those young, strong legs.
Yeah, Lyon right now won 3 of their last 4 matches, but all of those coming by 1 goal. And then they even lost that other match by just 1 goal to Nice. It was a 2-1 win over PSG, though, to start this month. So that's kind of what has people thinking about Lyon. And it is silly, but on a global landscape, you don't think about, a team that's third in the Ligue 1 table. Again, because all eyes are on Premier League, or if it's not, it's on the top teams in the Liga, the top teams in the Serie A or the Bundesliga. But again, still Lyon, they play their 4-3-3, which has led them to third in the table behind PSG and Lille. And yeah, as we've kind of been alluding to, they have experience along this back line, but youthful exuberance in attack. And it is Nabil Fekir with 11 goals in all competitions, leading that line as the attacking midfielder. And then Memphis Depay, who people obviously will remember from his Manchester United days. And even though those are forgettable, he has carved out a really, really nice career now. Those two being 25 years old, every other main offensive contributor on this team is 23 or younger, while every backline member is 27 to 33, somewhere in that range. And with Fekir out of this, the front line, or the front 2 lines, if you will, get even younger.
Yeah, I am really happy to see that Fekir is suspended because he is really a handful. He's super smart, both forward and going back. He's got these amazing balls that break lines like a madman, and he also has a very powerful shot. He is a player who could give the Barcelona midfield and back line fits. Now, the other issue is that there is still some uncertainty about the fitness level with their other midfield talent, and that's Tanguy and Ndombele. He is amazing. When the De Jong stuff started happening and it looked like it wasn't going to happen, many had thoughts that Barcelona might look at him instead of De Jong, even though that would have signaled a major philosophical shift in how the team would have needed to play. But he is a fantastic midfielder.
And in Ndombele, dealing with that ankle injury, you'd expect that Lucas Toussaint will be the one to start in his absence. And we should also mention that Jason Denayer could also be out with injury as well. On the Barcelona side, it's Artur Vermeulen, both out. And again, one is a bigger loss than the other between Artur and Vermeulen. And with Fekir out to suspension, the second leg of this is shaping up to be much more star-studded, if you will, or seeming much more an open game, if you will, if all of these players wind up missing the first leg. But still, I mean, obviously we know who on Barcelona's side, but Lyon also have a ton of players to watch as well, and the players that are supplementing some of the, we'll say superior attacking options. The first one I look at other than Depay, is 22-year-old Moussa Dembele of Celtic fame, second on the team with 7 goals and 4 assists. And he is a speedy guy to most likely, I think he is probably going to start in the middle of that 4-3-3 up top and in between Depay and potentially either Bertrand Traore or Cornet, which are, I mean, other than Depay who's 25, we're naming all guys 22 years of age or younger. And one of the things that, Kevin, you and I have expressed before is that the back line of Barcelona is not a young team, and not even not young, but they don't have a ton of pace either. And that even seeps into this now midfield. If Alenya doesn't get the start, as you predicted that he should, maybe not will, but if he should, that leaves Vidal, Busquets, and Rakitic in front of, again, Piqué and most likely Lenglet in this one, and then obviously Alba and either Roberto or Semedo. There's a ton of speed that back line is going to have to deal with.
Man, that's going to be a long, long day for Ter Stegen, I predict. It's also going to be a long day for Semedo. And I would suspect that Lyon will start Traore because he is the kind of forward who works really well when a team rolls out that more reactive kind of center back, such as Longley. You really want someone like Umtiti who can take space, play with a guy, and try to anticipate moves. But with him just coming back from long-term injury, there's almost no way that Valverde might roll him out.
And the other guy I want to highlight in the midfield, he started out as an attacking midfield, and even 2 years ago was linked to Barcelona, but is a 20-year-old, rather, Oussem Oyar, who has scored 6 league goals, 2 assists, and he really is, with Fekir out now, their primary creator, their primary... He's, again, not necessarily a box-to-box midfielder, but he does profile very much as a comparison to Alenya, who is not an attacking midfielder, but he is a center midfielder with attacking ideas, and he's someone that's going to be, I'd say, probably have to be man-marked by someone, whether it be Vidal, and obviously that's not what Rakitic and Busquets do, but that's what I would do if I'm Valverde. I would put Vidal or a body on him pretty much most of the match and not let him take the space to, pepper your back line and work through the midfield, because for me, that's going to be the important part of the field, I think. We have we'll say an elderly back line of Lyon and one that's not fully in shape right now against the likes of Dembele and Messi. And that's another one of those things going into this match, though, Kevin, that Barcelona's attack at the moment isn't at its best. Luis Suarez, we'll get to in the listener questions. Luis Suarez is not firing, particularly in the Champions League. That's historically known at the moment. But Dembele back, Messi, who clearly has seemingly either he's injured long-term or he's conserving some kind of energy for the Champions League. And Dembele even came out in an interview and said, Champions League time, let's do this, guys. And this was coming out yesterday. So I think they're all aware for this. And as bad as they've been in recent weeks, I would expect a monumental or a much different performance from the attack going in the Champions League now.
Same. Well, the other thing is that because Lyon likes to play an open match with space between lines and really their back line pressed up, basically a semi-analog of Barcelona, you should see a much more fun, much more open match. What people forget is that much of the reason that Barcelona hasn't been sparkling is because teams have been setting up with 9 in the box, and it's really hard to play against that. And I think that when we sit and we grumble about where's the champagne football, why isn't it pretty, it's because it's really hard to play against a team that stacks up 9 in the box. I mean, Valladolid came out with 5 defenders yesterday. It's absurd. I mean, I think that Lyon will play like a team that thinks they have a shot in this tie, and frankly, they do. And that will make for a much more entertaining match, although I fear it will be much more entertaining for neutrals than for Coulées, who will be cringing every time Lyon get the ball.
And one of the big players that, as we wrap up Lagrande Pregunta here, that we want to talk about is the left back Ferland Mendy. It's someone that you have, been outspoken out in your praise of him, and for very, very good reason. Where in world football, left back is a very, very short list in terms of the top class guys, and so that's why this season, particularly even with Marcelo struggling, Jordi Alba is a candidate to potentially be the best left back in the world so far this year, but he is nearing his, not to say the downslide of his career, but 30 is going to hit him like a stack of bricks with the speed he has. And so Ferland Mendy, as Juan Miranda still looks a few years away. It's not to say that he's done. It's not to say that you would give up on him, but he, again, especially for goalkeepers, backline guys, they don't really find their full potential a lot of the time until they're in their 22, 23, 24-year season, where, yes, they have speed, but Miranda's game isn't built on speed. It's built on understanding and tactical awareness and being able to play a good ball. So his technical skills have to be continued to be refined. He has to understand what it's like to play in bigger matches. He clearly has felt some of the pressure when he's been with the first team. So for me, it's not that you're giving up on Miranda, but I think, as we've kind of said, with the age of Alba and the potential that he might age poorly just due to his skill set, there should be a transitionary guy in there. And you, Kevin, have earmarked Mendy as that guy. And I want to know, I guess for the listeners who don't watch Lyon, basically your main explanation for that. What makes this guy not only already one of the best left backs, but potentially a top world-class left back?
Oh, well, he's Jordi Alba, but 7 years younger, faster, and stronger. That's the short of it. He is a remarkable player who will move this summer. Not sure where. People have been making rumors about him really for almost a year. He is a player who, by himself, could turn this tie. His pace is absurd. He has the same ability as Jordi Alba to find the high or the low cross. Lyon have 3 or 4 guys who are really strong headers of the ball, so look for the high as well as low cross. He splits lines. He dribbles. He is, my view is that Mendy is the modern fullback, right? In the sense that not only are they a winger, but they're a defender. They can stop a guy in the open field. They can run down a break. Mm-hmm. They can also function as a winger and dribble, break lines, split lines, and throw in crosses.